Hi, and welcome to the auditory disclosure statement for Knippenberg, Patterson, Bordelon, and Associates. Our office addresses and locations are listed on your disclosure form and are also available on our website and letterhead. Colorado law requires the following information be provided to all clients. The practice of licensed registered persons in the field of psychotherapy is regulated by the Mental Health Licensing section of the Division of Registrations. The Board of Examiners for your therapist will be identified to you. That board can be reached at 1560 Broadway, Suite 1350, Denver, Colorado 80202. Their phone number is 303-894-7800. As to the regulatory requirements applicable to mental health professionals, a licensed clinical social worker, a licensed marriage and family therapist, and a licensed professional counselor must hold a master's degree in their profession and have 2 years of postmaster's supervision. A licensed psychologist must hold a doctorate degree in psychology and have 1 year of postdoctoral supervision. A licensed social worker must hold a master's degree in social work. A psychologist candidate, a marriage and family therapist candidate, and a licensed professional counselor candidate must hold the necessary licensing degree and be in the process of completing the required supervision for licensure. A certified addiction counselor 1, CAC 1, must be a high school graduate and complete required training hours and 1,000 hours of supervised experience. A CAC 2 must complete additional required training hours and 2,000 hours of supervised experience. A CAC 3 must have a bachelor's degree in behavioral health and complete additional required training hours and 2,000 hours of supervised experience. A licensed addiction counselor must have a clinical master's degree and meet the CAC 3 requirements. A registered psychotherapist is a psychotherapist listed in the state's database and is authored by law to practice psychotherapy in Colorado, but is not licensed by the state and is not required to satisfy any standardized educational or testing requirements to attain a registration from the state. A separate addendum to this disclosure, which identifies your therapist's degrees, credentials, and licenses, will be provided to you. You are entitled to receive information about your therapist's methods of therapy, techniques used, and the duration of therapy, if known, and fee structure. You may seek a second opinion from another therapist or terminate this therapy at any time. In a professional relationship, sexual intimacy is never appropriate and should be reported to the board that licenses, registers, or certifies the licensee, registrant, or certificate holder. Generally speaking, the information provided by and to the client during therapy sessions is legally confidential and cannot be released without the client's consent. There are exceptions to this confidentiality, some of which are listed in Section 12-43-218 of the Colorado Revised Statutes, as well as other exceptions in Colorado and federal law. For example, mental health professionals are required to report child abuse to authorities. If a legal exception arises during therapy, if feasible, you will be informed accordingly. You should know that Craig Knippenberg, LCSW, and other of our licensed staff will provide your therapist with supervision or consultation. These additional persons' names will be provided to you. As such, information regarding your case will be available to him or her. Information regarding your case will also be provided to other staff members of Knippenberg, Patterson, Bordelon, and Associates for administrative and/or clinical care coordination purposes. You will be billed at the time of services rendered. Any balance not paid after 30 days will be assessed a service charge at the rate of 1.5% per month. In the event our billing efforts fail, we will send delinquent accounts to a collection agency with instructions to follow their usual course of action. By signing this agreement, you are agreeing to this procedure. Sessions are generally 45 to 50 minutes for individual and family sessions, and 90 to 150 minutes during the summertime for group sessions. This time is reserved for you. Missed appointments with less than 24 hours notice will be charged at the therapy session rate. Telephone calls will be returned as promptly as possible. If your call is an emergency, please follow the instructions on our office voicemail system. Telephone consultations lasting more than 10 minutes will be charged at regular therapy session rates. Our standard and customary fees are $165 per individual or family session, $75 per 90-minute group session, and $115 per 150-minute group session. Fees for other services, testing, and out-of-office procedures may vary. By signing this form, you understand what your fee is for the service and when the date of treatment begins. I also understand that payment is due at the time of service unless other arrangements have been made. I have been informed of my therapist degrees, credentials, and licenses. I've also read the preceding information, and it has also been provided verbally, either in a session or by my listening to this audio. I also understand my rights as a client or as the client's responsible party. I agree that I'm financially responsible for all services received. In the event I am seeking services for a child, I also hereby attest that I have the authority to consent for such services for said child. Thank you very much, and please make sure to do the correct signatures on the disclosure form.